Well, hello. My name is Maddie Regan, and I am running for Norwood City Council at large. I wanted to take a moment to thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video and to get to know me. As a first-generation Norwood resident and a first-time candidate, any opportunity that I have to introduce myself is truly valuable. So why don't I start by doing just that? Like I said, my name is Maddie. My husband Brian and I chose to make Norwood our home when we purchased our first house on Cleveland Avenue. We were immediately drawn to the historic nature of the homes in the area and the small city feel. Norwood reminds me of my hometown of Falls Church, a small city in Virginia that is surrounded by a large metropolitan district. Norwood is a place where I can run into someone I know at any event, running errands, or even walking my dogs. That feeling of a hometown with walkable neighborhoods is one that will keep my husband and I rooted in Norwood. Part of establishing myself somewhere is also committing to that place that I will be a positive force for change and a source of support for the community. I practice that where I work, and by running for city council, I intend to also practice that where I live. Now let me share some of my qualifications that I have to offer you as a candidate for city council. I received my bachelor's degree in production technology and management from Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. For the past 8 years, I've been working as a production and operations manager within various presenting organizations. My career has taken me all over the country and to many amazing places around the world. I presently serve as the production manager for the Cincinnati Shakespeare Company. With CSC, I recently completed one of the largest projects I have ever been involved with, culminating in the ribbon cutting on our new $17.5 million facility in Over the Rhine this past September. It was my duty to oversee the technical aspects of this project, collaborating closely with contractors, vendors, consultants, and CSC's leadership to ensure a successful transition for our organization. As a production manager for a multi-million-dollar nonprofit, I'm experienced in strategic business planning, project management, budget creation, and fiscal accountability. What I value is spending transparency, creative problem solving, and effective resource management. I believe this business skill set and value set are directly transferable qualifications to serve you on City Council. So let me tell you why I have decided to run for council at large. One of the reasons my husband and I selected the home we did was because we are one door away from Upper Millcrest Park. We were excited to take advantage of the park and what we assumed would be a bustling events and programming schedule. But events rarely came, maybe there's one a year, and the park location is one that has been plagued by issues likely credited to the heroin epidemic. Then we had the flooding in 2016. My husband spent hours with neighbors keeping storm drains clear in an effort to reduce the number of flooded homes on our street. We were truly inspired by neighbors banding together to help one another and do good in Norwood. But now, 14 months later, a storm drain on Cleveland Avenue is still dangerous and not sitting properly due to parts of the streets washing away from around it. 3 sinkholes that appeared on a nearby street surface were marked with traffic cones for over a year before getting patched. And as I looked around and spoke with neighbors on nearby streets, we were all facing the same issues. Looking for answers, I started being more proactive about going to city council meetings or watching them online. I grew frustrated by the passive approach of some of our elected officials. One of them even decided not to run for office again and then simply changed his mind and announced it a few council meetings later. Truly, this cannot be the approach of our elected leadership. I expect people to be either fully committed to representing the citizens of Norwood or make room for those who are. But that leads to a different issue. Not enough people are willing to run for office. There is a lack of candidates who are qualified and willing to take on the large task of serving as an elected official in Norwood. This leads me to share a saying that I frequently use at work. Complain about something once, fine, just get it off your chest. But complain about something twice, shame on you for not taking action to fix it the first time. This saying exercises my sense of ownership and how I lead my production team, and it reflects how I would represent the citizens of Norwood. So that brings me to where I was last spring when I was asked to run for council at large. I see great potential in our city, even as it is facing large economic challenges. I am willing and committed to working hard and collaborating with other elected officials to create forward-thinking change. And that is why I'm running. And that is why I'm asking for your vote. Now I'd like to share some of my priorities should I be elected. If elected, I want to focus on activating civic and public spaces within Norwood through community development and engagement efforts. An example of this type of programming includes, say, Shakespeare in the Park, which I brought to Norwood just this past July. I believe that there are many citizens just like myself who could create or share an event with our community, and I would like to serve as an advocate on their behalf. By increasing the use of our civic spaces, unwanted activity will be squeezed out of our parks. This process can be slow, but it can certainly be effective. It starts with small efforts such as litter pickups, activation projects such as Project Reclaim Victory, and community-led improvement efforts such as the recent Painted Forward event. I look forward to seeing these events grow in size and frequency as engaged citizens increase their ownership over these spaces. Between my husband's work with 3CDC and my organization's community outreach, public park productions, and in-school programming, it is safe to say my household knows a thing or two about community engagement and civic space activation. We know the positive impact that these efforts can make on a community, and pushing for a more vibrant Norwood is one of the key focuses of my campaign. I also want to increase spending accountability through a formal budgeting process that is the baseline for appropriations. Department heads, administrators, and elected officials need to improve the structure of their financial dialogue. Finding a process that works for all involved will increase buy-in and commitment across the board. I think it is critical that we find a path toward what I would consider a sustainable budget, one that would not only work now, but also in the future. Our current financial recovery plan has no resources allocated for infrastructure improvements, and to me, that is just simply unacceptable. So as this plan evolves to reflect projections and income increases, union contract negotiations, and other adjustments, I want to see a balance in how we spend money so we are increasing the focus on the vibrancy of our city and improving its infrastructure. Lastly, I will work to improve outward communication, which includes creating a user-friendly, modern city website. Our website is the first impression that many businesses and developers and citizens get when trying to engage with our city, and its current state is simply embarrassing. Within this site, I would like to create portals for a community calendar and a new resident guide, both of which can help newer residents like myself connect to events and groups that align their interests and household needs. Facilitating how new residents can get involved with our community will help more families establish themselves, further strengthening our city. We believe we have a great opportunity to update our virtual image and create a tool that is a resource for many looking to engage with Norwood. My priorities have been formed by talking to neighbors and citizens about their concerns for our city. If I wanted you to know one thing about me, it's that I am listening, and I'm listening to what you have to say. I believe it is the needs of the community that should shape the priorities for its government. So now you know a bit more about me and why I'm running and what I support. I wanted to thank you again for sharing your time with me today and educating yourself about the candidates that are on your ballot. I hope you will consider reaching out to me either on Facebook or through email if you have any questions that I can answer. Finally, I hope that you will vote for me, Maddie Regan, your candidate for City Council at Large. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.